right, my friends, how are you today? Michael Eschenburg here, Honest Aim, bringing you some honest astrology about the Mercury Retrograde happening in February in the sign of Pisces and the last 2 degrees of Aquarius, which is where Mercury's at right now. So I'm going to talk a bit about this next month ahead, 2 months ahead, show you the shadow period, the retrograde cycle, talk a little bit deeper about what Mercury means in the sign of Pisces as well at the last 2 degrees of Aquarius. And at the end of the video, I'm going to talk just briefly about, how this applies to each sign. So we did talk about that briefly in the monthly horoscopes. If you haven't seen those, if you click on the Honest Aim tab and go to playlist, it'll be under monthly horoscopes if you're interested in watching those. So, where to begin? The shadow period of Mercury starts here today on Sunday, depending on what day you're watching this video. So it starts on Sunday, February 2nd. Okay, Mercury, our planet of communication, information, it's the antenna. Okay, it's the little planet with the antennas that reach out to the heavens, that reach out. Okay, it's our fastest moving planet in the zodiac. It moves around the sun every 88 days. Okay, so that's why it retrogrades 3 times a year, as it's 3 times faster than our Earth is getting around the sun. So first, I will say that at the 28th degree here of Aquarius, okay, where it's ending and beginning, is about a chrysalis, okay? This is about the caterpillar, the chrysalis, turning into the butterfly, okay? And a complete metamorphosis, transformational change in our lives. So Mercury, again, our planet of communication, information, our planet of trade, goods, and services. In the sign of Aquarius is also what? It's forward thinking, right? Aquarius is the, technology, all right? So we have like these downloads of technology, downloads from the heavens, downloads from an area that's outside of Earth's realm. Okay, Capricorn, from Aries to Capricorn is like the foundation of humanity and Earth itself, the laws of the physical world, right? Capricorn. Then Uranus is the breakthrough. Okay, and again, it has to deal with like the director of the show, seeing the bigger picture. All right, seeing everything for what it is or for what things could be. Like I like to say on my daily channel a lot, is like, you're seeing not just the white canvas, but you're seeing the potential for what that canvas could be when you apply the paint. Okay, and its opposite sign is Leo. All right, so the Leo would be the star of the show. Where the sun is going to be until the 19th, is the director. This is the person that sees the big overall picture for how things are going to be, how things are going to go. So we have these like extraterrestrial, beyond earthly limit information coming into us here on Sunday. Okay, it's where it's been the past month. And then here we'll follow along here. I'm going to go day by day and just watch. So again, where Mercury starts here on February 2nd, this is where our shadow period begins. Okay, then the retrograde begins itself at 12 degrees 53 minutes on the 17th of February, then moves all the way back to 28 degrees, okay? So this is going to be the shadow period. So follow along here, day by day. 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, here we go. 17th, okay? We're seeing this S here, which means Mercury is stationed retrograde, okay? Now, then the retrograde begins on the 18th, and we start moving backward. Now, just to note, the planet itself, none of the planets, slight confusion, actually go backward. None of the planets, there we go. Now we're stationed direct here, March 9th, stationed direct, March 10th, and that red turned to black, which means we are going to start moving forward again. Okay, so we're stuck back at 28 degrees, back at a place of transformation. The catalyst, the chrysalis, right, of the caterpillar emerging as a butterfly. So this next several weeks here, Okay, so it's important to pay attention to what's happening now on Sunday the 2nd, all the way up into the 17th, right when the retrograde starts, as we're going to be going backward, back, to retrace these steps, to make sure we've learned what we needed to learn. And then look, we're going to continue to move forward, right? And then it's not till we hit the 13th degree that we're actually out of this, which is March 30th. Okay, so from February 2nd to March 30th, we're going to be experiencing this same space in space. Okay, now again, none of the planets actually move backward. From a heliocentric point of view, meaning sun-centered, all the planets just go around. You know, some are in a tight circle, some are in a more elliptical pattern, right? But this is like geocentrically, right? There's a full moon in space every day, heliocentrically. You know, the sun illuminates the moon completely every single day, right? But it's only geocentrically, Earth-centered, from our perspective here on Earth, that we see these full moons and new moons depending on where we're at, okay? So just the same, when the planet comes around the bend from the sun and it starts to get closer to Earth, it's this motion of you know, one thing moving faster while another thing's moving slower. It's coming in, looks like it goes backward, and then moves forward again. Okay, so it's just that coming around the bend that appears to go back into the same area of space, but the planet doesn't actually move backward. So what is happening, though, is the planet of communication is getting much closer to Earth during the retrograde cycle. Okay, so again, being our planet of communication and information, what that means is Mercury being so much closer, it's like if you're driving in your car and your radio's playing and you get by big radio antennas, okay, the signal might be overwhelmed, overloaded, right? So can we. So can our minds, as this is buzzing with information. So can our technology. Okay, because again, this rules, you know, especially in the sign of Aquarius, it rules technology. It rules information, how we're trading information, which is why they say, you know, double check your emails. Did you really send it? Did it save as a draft? You know, some of the myths that I like to, you know, it's like this: don't buy a home, don't buy a car, don't sign contracts, don't travel. It's like, I'm headed to Costa Rica on the 18th for a week. You know, am I going to miss this trip because Mercury retrogrades? Absolutely not. The planet goes retrograde 3 times a year. I'm not going to stop living life for 3 weeks or a month, you know, for 3 months out of the 12 months of a year. That's a third of my, you know, fourth, excuse me, of my year of like, well, I better stay in this little box. I better not do anything or sign contracts. It's just like, what this means is it's time to review, rethink, slow things down, because we can have this need of right now, okay, about putting the carriage before the horse. And we can't get anywhere when we're putting the carriage before the horse. So in the sign of Pisces, okay, we're dealing with our intuitive nature. Right? We're dealing with our spiritual connection with source energy, right? So Capricorn, again, is about the physical, the very physical, and the physical laws of reality, the physical nature, me as an individual, right? Myself. I can only go to the gym and exercise for me to get stronger. I can only go to yoga class. I can only breathe my air. I can't breathe your air for you. I can't lift weights for you, right? So that's the very physical part of Capricorn. Now in Pisces, it's about the oneness, the collective conscious, the collective unconscious, right? So we're dealing with slowing down and having a better empathetic understanding of our neighbors. Okay, again, connecting to the collective conscious, connecting to the collective creative. All right. Now, it's fair to say that we never really know. You know, you can look at an individual and say they look happy. You can look at an individual and say they look kind of sad or something's bothering them. But we don't truly know what's going on under the hood, right? Unless we open up communication and have a conversation about it. But in our general passings of individuals on the street, or Say you're driving a car. We don't always know what's going on with people, and we have our own agendas. I've got to get to work at 9 a.m. For some reason, the car in front of me, let's say I'm on the highway, right? So my individuality would be my vehicle itself. My vehicle, me. Okay. Now, the highway, we're going to use as a representation of the collective conscious, the collective creative. Okay. So we're all going down this super highway. We're all connected on this super highway, each going to our own destinations. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, the person in front of me, unbeknownst to me, their service engine light comes on. The power in their vehicle says engine power reduced. The car goes to a halt, or slows way down, or we don't know what's happening, or they're going to change lanes very radically. Maybe there's not a gas station or an auto place for this person to pull off for another mile. Okay, so they might be going very slow in that right-hand lane, but it's unknown to why, to myself or to the other drivers. And at first instinct or instance, it kind of came out merged as one. It might be slam on the horn. Hey, what's going on, man? I got to get to work. Don't you know my agenda? But we don't know what's going on under the hood. It's about the things that we cannot see. And it's trying to be more empathetic to our neighbors, or vice versa. If we're driving along and this car is just speeding out of nowhere, hey, buddy, slow down. What's wrong with you? We don't know what's going on under the hood. Maybe they're driving to the hospital. Maybe they're erratic driving or whatever, might be trying to get to the hospital, or trying to pull off before their car explodes, or whatever. It's like, again, we don't understand what's going on beneath the surface level. Very Capricorn nature. Under the surface, our emotional body, again, dealing with the unconscious, the oneness, the individual emotional state, or the spiritual connection that we are unaware of. I've been to the beach over here down in Detroit. We have this cool beach called Belle Isle Beach, and I'll go over there and I'll just meditate, and I'll bring one of my singing bowls and I'll just sit there. And to like the average person, some people know what they are, some people don't, and I'll sit there, and some people would just come up and sit with me and just sit down and just close their eyes, and I'll open my eyes and there'll just be people there. And then some people will literally come up and be like, hey, what's with the foghorn you're blowing? Is there a fire going on? And I'm sitting there, eyes closed, just in my space. And it's just like this individual has no empathy or consideration for what's going on in my particular practice, So, anyway, enough of analogies. So we have this opportunity to slow down, which is why Mercury retrogrades are very important. It's time for us to slow down, to be empathetic, as this retrograde is going to connect 3 times to the North Node. Okay, the North Node down in Cancer. This is about being caring, about being nurturing. Okay, not just speeding along as this, the fastest planet in our solar system likes to do, just speed along with information, So 3 times it's going to be able to connect with the North Node down in Cancer, reminding us to be empathetic, reminding us to be caring, or reminding us to be nurturing to ourselves and to others. Again, we don't know what's going on in someone else's journey. We don't know what's going on under their hood, what emergency they're going to, what emergency they're coming out of, what chrysalis they're emerging from. If an individual is having a spiritual awakening, and we can look at them and be like, no, you're the same old person that you've been a while ago. We're not giving them that opportunity of respecting their growth, of respecting wherever they're at in this life. And it's just like saying, no, you're still that caterpillar. You're still that caterpillar. And it's just kind of slowing things down and recognizing that we're all going through changes at our own pace. We're all dealing with stuff underneath our own hoods, in our own hearts, in our own consciousness, connecting to source energy, connecting to our own spirituality, right? So this is a huge opportunity right now to whatever we're doing to connect deeper into our spirituality, right? And again, to review, rethink, revisit, okay? I like all the rewords. All the rewords are perfect for retrograde time, because this is a time, again, to not just jump ahead. Not jump ahead of something, but slow down. You know, it's like pulling the reins back on the horse. Like there's no rush. There's no rushing a healing, right? We get to where we are going at the appropriate time. You know, I love the Alan Watts quote. You know, it's just like sometimes we think, you know, it's not about the fastest runner reaching the end of the race when we're looking at life, because if everything were the first one to get it done, you know, look at how it applies to music. The best music isn't the composition that flies through the piece the fastest. It's about each and every individual note that is played along the journey. You know, and it's us respecting where we are at in this opus, this grand opus of our own individual lives, as well as respecting that it is not a solo piece, that we're part of an orchestra, okay? And we are finding the collective community, the collective creative consciousness that we are harmonizing with to create this beautiful orchestra, to create this symphony that is harmonizing with the cosmos, okay? So some people will fall out of our lives, some people we will reconnect with during this time, right? There's a great amount of opportunity for reconnection during this particular retrograde, again in Pisces, as we're going to be able to see ourselves, see our journey, see the other person's journey, right? As for being what it is, and maybe a necessary separation and a necessary realignment, coming back together. Like, wow, it's really great to see you again, old friend. You know, like, tell me all about your journey. Where have you been? What's been good? So there's a great opportunity for reconnection going on. And again, connecting with whatever we're doing on a deeper sense of spirituality. So this is really, really a powerful, powerful, powerful retrograde, because all 3 retrogrades this year are going to be happening. It's going to go Taurus, Cancer, Taurus, and then Libra, Gemini, Cancer, Gemini, and then Libra, Scorpio, Libra. So they're hitting like the air information, emotion, information, emotion, information, emotion. And so again, the information here is about otherworldly information. Again, connecting to technology, connecting with the community, connecting with our soul tribe, you know, revisiting. So, once again, I will reiterate, if you are buying a new home, okay, it just means read all the fine print. Really take the moment, take the opportunity to revisit the house before you rush into buying it. You know, does it leak water? How's the basement? Does it flood? You know, are the pipes galvanized pipes that are going to break from the inside out? Are all the, you know, the GFI, you know, is the electrical GFIs run the water? Kind of like put it through the works. You know, if you're signing a contract, like business doesn't stop during retrograde time. You know, life just doesn't cease to move forward, although it needs to slow down and not have that rushing sensation. Even if others are rushing, that doesn't mean we have to, right? Because we are aware of the energies that are going on in the cosmos right now, which kind of puts us a bit ahead. And it doesn't mean we need to teach them, hey, slow down, it's retrograde time. You know, it's just like, hey, everybody does their own thing, but as long as we're doing us and being, you know, authentic, again, this connection with Mercury, how we're going to communicate with other people, connecting with our authenticity, North Node down in Cancer. Again, 3 times this happens with what a beautiful alignment. Okay. You know, so if you are signing a contract, if you are asking someone else to sign a contract, make sure that it's worded perfectly. It's worded rightly. You know, read it over. Have somebody else, have one of your peers read it over. Take your time with this. If you're traveling, what does that mean? Make sure you have your passport ready for Costa Rica, baby. Going to Envision Festival. I hope you see you there. Expect delays. Plan for delays. Plan for things to break. This is the time where our computers malfunction. So it's just like, it's a great time to maintenance your computer. It's a great time to make sure that your desktop or your laptop is running properly. It's a great time to dump the photos onto a hard drive so you're not running out of storage space, so that when you need to download that document, you're not, up a creek without a paddle. Again, making sure that you've packed everything into your bags if you're traveling. So this is just a time, once again, to slow down, to observe, to really take things in, drink it in nice and slowly, as we are all dealing with a metamorphosis. We're all dealing with a great change underneath the hood. We're all dealing with the connection going from the caterpillar to this isolated chrysalis to the butterflies that we're going to be, or are, transforming into during this cycle of life, right? And we still have that Neptune-Pluto conjunction, or septile, which I'm gonna make another little video just about that. So what does this mean if you're a Pisces? Okay, if you're a Pisces, this is happening in your first house. Okay, so the first house is about what? It's about the initiative. Okay, so you're taking the initiative, perhaps, to take the time to slow down. You're taking the initiative to be empathetic. You're taking the initiative to look at the other, recognize your own emotions, recognize who you are, what you're feeling, okay? Because Pisces certainly has to do with feels, right? So it's not always something that's on the surface level. It's something deeper than the surface level. And it's a great time to take inventory of your own emotions during this time, right? So what we do as the child, we go toward the light, we go away from the light. We go toward what is good. We go toward what is good. We go toward the light, and we run away from the cold. We run away from what's bad or dark. And at this point, it's also important to understand shadows, our own shadows, other people's shadows, are a necessary part of our lives, right? Doing our own shadow work, to revisit our shadows during this time, is also something that's quite appropriate. And to take inventory of our own emotions, and maybe what we're feeling, what we're picking up on, the signal that's not being communicated verbally, but telepathically, energetically, vibrationally, right? We all carry vibration for that harmonizing to happen. So maybe there's some sort of a vibration we're picking up from the other person that we might think is bad, and we want to run away from it. Where in fact, this might be a time to reevaluate your own emotions and say, oh, that's this person's feelings that I'm feeling. I am good. So maybe now that I understand that this isn't bad, this isn't dark, that this isn't scary, I can bring my light to this situation. I can slow down the communication, and I can speak empathetically. I can ask what they're doing. I can listen to how they feel, right? So this is a great opportunity. Not like you're going to be a therapist or psychologist or whatnot during this time, but I wouldn't be surprised if people do reach out to you and recognize your caring, nurturing side of self, because you're going to be able to play that role during this time, and you're going to find a greater sense of strength to be able to handle those conversations without feeling drained. I talked about that also in the monthly video, which is a pretty good one for the Pisces. If you're in Aries, this is happening in your 12th house. This is about completion. Are you coming to a place of completion with a deeper understanding of your spiritual connection? Not that the spiritual connection's ever complete. It's like enlightenment. There's continuous awakenings. It's not like, oh, I'm woke AF and life is peachy keen. There's always something new around the bend. But this is like, well, what are we bringing into completion right now of our communication? Are we wrapping up a business deal? Are we wrapping up something that needs our attention, that needs our focus, that needs our concentration, that needs to be communicated? Is there something that we do have to communicate to bring to a close, to bring to an end, right? Very well so. And we're able to do that as an Aries this time with a greater sense of care, with a sense of, again, picking up that vibration from the other individual and feeling what's going on and allowing ourselves to be nurturing and authentic during this time, thankfully for that beautiful connection to the North Node. right? If you're a Taurus, this is going to happen in your 11th house, which is awesome. All right, so my Taurus friends, you have so much change and great growth coming onto you as Uranus is in your sign, you know. So there's not only are you having great breakthroughs just with Uranus being in your sign, you know, really changing and cracking the shell off of this this beautiful Earth sign, but during this, you know, being in the community, in your sign of community in the 11th house, this is really connecting with your soul tribe and really getting out there and adding your light into the world, getting out there and supporting other people that are on a similar or same mission as you, getting out there and connecting with your family, getting out there connecting with the community, getting out there and really adding your spiritual light into the world, right? So that's a really powerful aspect for my Taurus friends. If you are a Gemini, this is happening in your 10th house about career. Okay, so you're able to take an interesting step into your career. You are able to slow things down to a really lovely degree. And, you know, as a Gemini, you know, Mercury is your ruling planet. So it's like, I think fast, I talk fast, I act fast, you know. So during this time of the antenna being so close for you and being in a water sign, a mutable water sign. So this is going to square. This is going to square your sun or square your ascendant, okay? Maybe some other planets, maybe your own Mercury's right there in Gemini as well. So this is going to square that. So there is going to be, you know, some potential for tension, as it's just like, I want it now, I want to act now, and it's like we can't have it now. You know, it's not something we can put our fingers on. It's not something that we can just, you know, pay the dollar and get out of the machine. This is like, okay, maybe I have to meditate upon this. How do I tap into, you know, how do I communicate through my career? How do I trade goods? How do I make these connections, you know, firing these connections in my career that makes sense on a sustainable lifestyle kind of a way? Can I bring meditation into my practice to center myself, you know, as I go through my job? You know, this is about public image as well. So it's like, are individuals seeing you grow from not being a spiritual person into being a spiritual person? Yeah. Spirit, you know what I'm saying there. If you're a Cancer, this is happening in your 9th house. Okay. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Cancer rising. You know, this deals a little bit more with the rising signs as I'm talking about the houses. Okay, but apply this to however it makes sense for you. So this is going to be happening in your 9th house of travel. Okay, are you traveling during this time? Again, take note. Write a list like a Virgo. Write a list. Make sure you've got absolutely everything on that list. Check it twice like Santa Claus before going on your adventures. As well, beyond just travel, this is about seeking information for you, seeking higher information. Again, Mercury is our planet of information communication. So there is a great possibility that you're going to start diving into some spiritual teachings. Okay, maybe you are a spiritual teacher that has gone from the student, the caterpillar. Your schooling, your own learnings have been the chrysalis, you know, the taking the time away that you've needed before this next step, which is the butterfly, which is you becoming the teacher, right? So you're either seeking out new information that is going to gain a higher creative connection for you, or again, you're stepping up into that role as a teacher, adding your light. You know, we need that Cancer energy more than ever right now, as we have so much Capricorn energy, which can be cold, brash, this is the law, this is the way things are. Almost a sense of emotionless, and it's just like you're going to be able to add emotion into your teaching. You're going to be able to add the unseen flavors into the dish, which are so very, very necessary. If you're a Leo, this is going to happen in your 8th house of shared resources. You know, are you getting married right now? Are you starting a new business with someone right now? Are you joining bank accounts? Are you joining and merging companies? If so, you know, this is a very, very appropriate time, again, to read and find, you know, look over everything with the biggest magnifying glass and go through every aspect, you know, and look at all the details. Okay, because if you are merging bank accounts, if you are merging homes right now, if this person is messy and you're super clean, or this person's super clean and you're super messy, did we rush into this? Did we do something too fast, too soon, that we might later resent each other for? Right? On the plus side of things, if you are merging homes, businesses, accounts, whatever it is, there's an opportunity for taking it to the next level, again, of creativity, of this. Again, we're dealing with not stuff that's just here in the physical. We're dealing with an emotional body. We're dealing with an unseen creativity. We're dealing with our dreams. Are we communicating with the other person that we're merging with? Are we communicating? Are we both on the same path of our dreams? And if the answer is yes, again, there's no sense in rushing a healing. There's no sense of rushing into our dreams. Like, we'll fall asleep when we need to. The creative inspiration comes when it comes. It comes at the right amount of time, in the appropriate time. So again, taking a little bit of a slower way into this, and the rewards can be beneficial in abundance. Because if it is for, my dreams and your dreams align, that's great. There's no sense in, again, putting the carriage before the horse. If you're a Virgo, this is happening in your 7th house. Okay, so that's about love, romantic partnerships in general. Okay, so there can be a highlight of communication. Okay, again, so that revisiting thing that I was talking about earlier in this episode here, if you're being revisited by an old friend from the past, if you're being revisited by an old love from the past, which is a great possibility, and it could be like, I've always loved you, babe. I've always loved you, and let's do this. Again, it's just like relearning how to date, relearning how to hold hands, relearning how to communicate with one another in the language of love, relearning how to tell each other your dreams, your admirations, your goals, long term. Before it's just like, head over heels, puppy love, or again, even if it's a business partner that you're working with, okay, and if it's just like, oh my God, you're here and I'm here, we're both on the same vibration, we're both in the same orchestra, we're both on the same frequency, yes, let's do all of these things at once, and it's just like, all of those things will come to fruition if you're on that same page, and you are, so that's wonderful. So again, it's just time to take it slow and really communicate your creative dreams and your ambitions during this time. Okay, if you're a Libra, this is happening in your 6th house. This is about how you are working and giving back to others, making sure that you are working through an empathetic way, that you are tapping into your own personal dreams, your own personal desires, your will from a higher sense, a higher purpose, and you're bringing that to the table. Right? So this is, maybe you're doing some charity, or goodwill. Maybe this is, soup kitchen work. Okay. And take that for however it is for you, my Libra friends. This is definitely about aligning with the work that you feel internally, the stuff that you want to do on the inside. And maybe that's not what your career is right now, and that's okay. But if you're doing this work, it's going to bring you such an emotional gratification and satisfaction. And that, again, it's not something that just immediately overnight, like, oh, I went and did this thing once and I don't see a reward in doing it all of the time. There can be like, hey, it's like plant a seed here, water it, allow it to grow, allow it to, give it love, give it water, give it light, and watch it come to fruition. There's no rushing this healing. And as long as you're following your heart space, being authentic, again, that connection to the North Node, whatever work that you're doing, that you're giving back to the community, that you're giving back to this world, is needed work. You are being the lighthouse in this particular retrograde time. And it's not like saying, here you go, is the perfect example. It's not like saying, okay, yeah, I was up there, I shined my light and no boats came, so I guess I'm not saving any lives. It's just like, keep that fire going, keep it going, and eventually, that boat's going to come into the shore, and it's going to be so thankful that you were there and continuously put that work out there, which was, this unconditional light that was very needed, right? Now, if you are a Scorpio, this is happening in your 5th house of creative self-expression, okay? This is you, embodying that lighthouse. Okay, embodying, understanding your communication through your own ego. Okay, there's going to be an ego death during this, a transformation, that chrysalis, into a new emergence, that butterfly. Are we speaking, Scorpio, through our ego? Are we connecting with our shadow self? Are we connecting with the shadow side? And allowing those things, allowing to illuminate our own light on our own shadows as being, the ruler of kind of the underworld. We can communicate from a place of that snap, and quick to cut you off. So it's just like, okay, are we communicating from a place of heart-centered love? And again, that connection to the North Node, it's just like, how would you want to be treated during this instance? What kind of communication would you like to receive during this time, if it's a time of struggle? Okay, on the other side, on the flip side, this is you coming into your light. This is you like, hey, I have this beautiful sense of creativity. I have this passion. I have this drive in me. I have this, ability to speak as a leader. Okay, and it's like, okay, where do we start with this? Again, going from the caterpillar to the butterfly, it might not be that you're getting the keynote speaking roles on the 2nd week, and it's just like, it's okay to slow down, start at ground zero here, learn how to crawl before we learn how to walk, before we learn how to run, before we're jumping out of airplanes, whatever it may be. You have the passion and the drive right now and the consistency to keep on going, as long as you are patient with yourself and patient with the people around you who are also going through this metamorphosis, and they will see your light, Scorpios. They will see what you have to offer, and you will be offered those keynote speaking roles when the time is right. And maybe that'll come in March after the retrograde moves forward. Maybe it'll come, in April when it's completely out of its shadow. But either way, that consistency right now is very, very important. Okay, so don't give up. If you are a Sagittarius, this is happening in your 4th house, home, family. Okay. Are we being short with family? Is there something that we can do to how, Sagittarius, you're all about information. You're the psychologists and the teachers of the world. You are, the individuals, the philosophers. You have so much wordy communication to offer the world. Right? So during this retrograde in your 4th house, this is taking care of and making sure that your family, home and family life, between sharing and teaching is 2 different things. One can be very welcoming, while the other come across as pompous. Where this is our family, this is not our students, right? There's an opportunity to review our communication with others in our home and family front. As well, this can be a sense of, redecorating, taking the time. What do I need to do around my home to allow this, higher spiritual energy to flow through me? And can that come through my communication with my family members? Can it come through with the work I'm putting into my home? Yeah. And again, slowing down when it comes to, maybe we don't know what's under the hood of the other person in my family that's giving me insight, right? They're a reflection of my higher self reflecting back at me, communicating with me, right? So we don't know what's going on with them. They might not know what's going on with me. So if we are able to slow our communication down and speak from the heart, This is a great opportunity to grow beyond what we thought was possible. This Mercury retrograde is very, very potent and powerful for you this year. All right. If you are a Capricorn, this is happening in your third house. Okay. So this is about learning a spiritual language, learning a language that is the unseen. You know, maybe this could also be connection with your siblings. You know, maybe you're taking the time right now to reconnect with your siblings, to maybe make sure. We all get Capricorn, you get busy. I'm a Capricorn, I get it. You know, we get very busy. We put our horse blinders on and we're work focused, you know, and sometimes it can be like, hey, brother, how are you? I haven't talked to you in a hot minute. I've been doing my thing, you're doing yours, but let's take the moment right now. Sister, how are you? How have you been? Let's really just talk for a minute. Not to gain a purpose, but just to connect on an emotional level, to connect on a spiritual level, which sometimes it's just like, well, if it doesn't make, you know, dollars, or if there's not a purposeful end goal, you know, it's just like Capricorn's getting to the top of the mountain. Right? So it's just like, well, that's my goal, to get to the top of the mountain. What is my goal of just this conversation? Well, that is the goal, is that conversation, is that reconnection. Okay. Also, it's about learning a lot of cool new stuff, right? As the third house is about information in general. Okay. So it means you're taking the time to learn, to grasp some deep spiritual knowledge, you know, and take your time rereading the books that you're reading, or re-listening to those beautiful teachers out there, you know, whether it's YouTube or, you know, wherever you're getting whatever video you're watching or whatever it is, book you're reading, whatever it may be. But it's taking time to really drink that stuff in, so you're not skipping a single line. You're not skipping a single word. You know, it's like words are words, but when we arrange them in the right order, a simple sentence can be absolutely life-changing. You know, so it's us taking sure that we are reading everything, that we are really drinking in the information, and not up here so much, but receptive during this retrograde cycle, during this retrograde time. If you're an Aquarius, this is going to be happening in your second house, okay, which deals with money. You know, how are you spending money? How are you trading money? How are you receiving money? Are you living through your personal creativity? You know, my Aquarian friends, happy birthday to you if it hasn't already happened, if it has, or if you're Aquarius rising, either way. You know, this deals with money. This deals with your ability to trade goods, to trade services from a sense of higher purpose, higher point of view, to tap into your own creativity, your will, and allow your higher self to come through you in order to obtain whatever it is you're trying to obtain, material goods, or again, dollar bills, right? So this is an amazing time, again, to tap into your creativity, to tap into your dreams. Am I getting money, you know, through my dreams, through this job? No, I love doing this. Maybe I should consider doing this for work because my heart is into that. You know, there is a connection into this over here that I'm not getting with this over here, how I'm making money. Maybe I need to review how I'm making money, because if it's just about the dollars I'm receiving on this end, but my heart, my passion, my soul is not into this, you know, it's not resonating with me and the rest of the orchestra, maybe I should start doing this. And maybe that's going to be for a smaller amount of money at first, but then it's going to be able to flourish and expand. That's what Pisces is all about, and Neptune's all about, is about expansion. And they're in your second house right now, you know, which is like, hey, if you do this and you follow your heart, you're really going to be able to, create a lot of income on the things that make you the happiest. And you're this future seeing, you know, visionary, that once you bring this into an alignment, it becomes a very, very powerful connection for you as you are leading the way into the age of Aquarius, into this new future that you seem to have, you know, in a way kind of figured out. So it's definitely dealing with your finances and how to obtain more. All right. So that is the Mercury retrograde in a nutshell. If there's any questions, if you're still following along through the video here, please feel free to just talk about it here on the channel, or I do have the Facebook channel, Honest Aim. doing these every day as well. So we're going to, talk about this as Mercury goes through each degree and makes its journey in connection every step of the way. It's gonna make a beautiful sextile over there to Jupiter as well, about abundance and more. So we're taking more of ourself and our creativity, our dreams, tying them in together and saying, okay, how can I bring this aspect into myself and bring greater expansion in a practical manner? So that's going to be a pretty powerful connection when that happens. There's a lot of good coming our way, my friends. This is a very positive retrograde. This is a very positive time. I don't look at the Mercury retrogrades as, again, time to hide out. It's a positive time. And we have forward momentum all the way till the 17th. But it's important to right now to start paying attention to what's happening on the 2nd through the 17th, as that's going to be the area that we're going to revisit 2 more times during this retrograde cycle. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hope you have a great day and an even better tomorrow. We'll see you then.